Left of the box. Mélanie Joly. She is the Foreign Affairs Minister here in Canada. She's been on top of this because, this kind of falls under her sort of, she has a lot to do with this. Not the only one, because it was a different minister that halted the funding to UNRWA. But she's the Foreign Affairs Minister. And she's apparently in Israel right now, met with Israeli counterpart in names I don't know. I just don't know. To reiterate Canada's solidarity with Israelis and the importance of getting Canadians out of Gaza, bringing hostages home, protecting civilians, increasing humanitarian aid in Gaza. We discussed the need to end violence through sustainable ceasefire with Hamas laying down its weapons. With Hamas laying down its weapons. Because that's really the problem right now, isn't it? It's Hamas firing all their weapons that they have and their attacks. That's the problem right now, apparently, to them. Because here's the thing, if Hamas were to cease to exist right now, nothing would change. Israel would still continue doing what they're doing, claiming that Hamas is still there. And yeah, like, what would change? Seriously. Hamas isn't a threat to Israel right now. Them laying down their arms doesn't change anything from yesterday. Looking forward, we also spoke about the long security for the region for Israel through a two-state solution. Not going to happen. There can't be a two-state solution there anymore. It's just... But she's been, Mélanie Joly has been tweeting up a storm while she's there. Another tweet. Meeting with President. We exchanged views in the conflict at Gaza, the need to get more Canadians out of Gaza, secure the release of hostages, and protect Palestinian civilians. And, just while you're there talking to these influential people, maybe tell them to stop bombing, or that we'll stop sending them money and weapons. We'll actually apply pressure. That might be good. I also raised our concerns with the planned military operation in Rafah. You don't express concerns about this. You tell them, hell no. This goes back to that statement that was released way back when saying a ceasefire would be nice. They weren't directly telling Israel that there needs to be a ceasefire. They were just like, well, if you guys do it, we'll agree with it and probably should happen, but we're not going to say anything. We're not going to push you into doing it. How is this any different? Where it's like, you know what, we would really prefer it if you didn't have a military operation go into a refugee camp where people are desperate, starving, already injured, traumatized beyond belief, that have nothing to defend themselves, no protection, no shelter other than some tents, maybe if they're lucky. Could you please not go in there and start bombing them? Because, it's just not a good thing to do. Like, I don't know, but if you do, not much we can do to stop you, I guess. Like, we have so much more power to do something about this. It is sickening that they're going over there and acting so friendly with people that are actively engaged in a genocide. Yeah, Agent NDN recently tweeted out, what about the Canadians illegally buying plots of lands in the occupied West Bank? Yes, that is happening. And, well, we had the issues at the synagogues in Toronto and Montreal, where that's where they were having their real estate events in, houses of worship. And then other people were complaining, like, why are you protesting our synagogues and making Jewish people feel uncomfortable? And then it's like, do you know what's happening in those synagogues right now? Like, so here we have Mélanie Joly, again, more tweets. We believe Israeli women and we stand with them in their fight for justice. Today I sat down with the First Lady of Israel, Michal, to discuss the sexual violence committed by Hamas on October 7th and our support of survivors. No doubt there probably was sexual violence on that day, and it's horrific, but it's also been shown to be exaggerated by a lot. Not to mention, again, there's lots of sexual violence being perpetrated against the Palestinians. She actually does sort of kind of maybe acknowledge it. We'll see. So she follows up by saying, we have offered RCMP support in investigating these crimes. And today I announce we will be providing $1 million to organizations who are supporting survivors of sexual violence committed by Hamas on October 7th. More money to the Israeli government. more money because of this horrific attack by Hamas. And meanwhile, what's happening with the Palestinians? But we're going to send more money to the Israeli government. We're going to invest our resources, have offered RCMP support to investigate this. Are we talking about Canadians that were attacked by Hamas? Or we're just offering our police state to another state? Is that what we're doing here? Because we're not talking about Canadians who were attacked, just the survivors, the sexual violence survivors. Well, you see, she does then tweet this out. We believe Palestinian women. So here, we believe Israeli women, and here we believe Palestinian women. Allegations on sexual and gender-based violence against them must be investigated, and Palestinian women must be supported. Today, I announced in the West Bank that Canada will commit $1 million to support this important work. That wouldn't happen to be the same $1 million that you're giving to Israel to look into the sexual violence perpetrated by Hamas, is it? Is it the same $1 million, or is this a separate $1 million to look into the sexual violence perpetrated against Palestinian women from the IDF, from being imprisoned? Are we talking about two sums? Because she didn't make that clear in the tweets. If these were two separate amounts of money going, because here it's just, I announce in the West Bank that Canada will commit $1 million to support this important work. So just allegations on sexual and gender-based violence against them must be investigated, and Palestinian women must be supported. So it's still very vague. Just announce that, commit $1 million to support this important work. Whereas back here, we have offered RCMP support in investigating these crimes. So a lot more specific. We're talking about the crimes of Hamas back on October 7th. And today I announced we will be providing $1 million to organizations who are supporting survivors of sexual violence committed by Hamas on October 7th. That is very specific. This one not specific. This one very specific. And it just happens to be the same amount of money? Huh. I'm suspicious. This doesn't sit right with me. It seems like she's talking about the same sum of $1 million that is going to be going to organizations who are supporting survivors of sexual violence committed by Hamas on October 7th. Because here it's just nothing about the RCMP, nothing about any organizations that this money is going to. Really?